Guess who's back? Back again. Diego's back with SGN. Oh shit, that was trash. But anyway, I am back after a month and a half, finally to do some videos. And let me tell you, my computer breaking was, yes, unfortunate because I had to spend a bunch of money to buy a new one. But I went ahead and got myself a really good computer, which means a lot more opportunity for this channel. It's going to be a lot easier to make content a lot faster. It's going to be very, very good. I'm very happy about it. I am sorry that I didn't put up any videos, even just using my cell phone, but I was waiting for the right time where I could really do it and put in the right effort. And now that I'm jobless, I can go ahead and pour in all my time into this. And starting in January, I won't be having Wi-Fi problems anymore. I will be having Wi-Fi again, and I will be able to provide you guys with the video content you deserve. Anyway, what I'm going to be talking about in this video, which you probably noticed from the headline, is the recent Premier League matches. And when it comes to shocking results, there weren't really many. The only one I could think of that was really very surprising was Watford managing to draw 1-1 against Tottenham. The thing about Tottenham is, over the summer, we were all saying it, they didn't really bring in any players that could really bolster that team. If Dele Alli and Harry Kane and Christian Eriksen aren't necessarily having good games, who else is going to be able to carry the weight of that team and give them a win? And they really don't have anybody else. I mean, yes, Danny Rose is a good defender, but he's really going to make a difference. Is Moussa Sissoko going to make a difference? Not really. There's nobody in that team, not even really Son, who's a very, very good player. I rate him highly. He's in my ultimate team. I just don't rate him as a guy that's really going to be a game changer when it really matters for Tottenham. And this was their season. This was pretty much it. They aren't going to have a better chance of winning the title because they have a very, very solid team. A very good team. Probably maybe one of the best starting 11s in their history and probably the very best, barring Gareth Bale. But Gareth Bale really did things on his own in that team. So I think that right now they're probably the best Tottenham side they've ever had. Are they really going to have a better team next season and have a better chance considering that Mourinho is probably going to have a better United team. City are definitely going to invest way more money, so they're going to be probably even stronger than they already are. Arsenal are going to be coming back a little bit. Chelsea obviously going to be coming back quite a bit. So is there going to be a good chance of them winning it in a future year? Not very good. This is probably their best chance, and they are completely blowing it. They are now, I don't know how many points, like 12 points behind the leaders. Maybe not quite 12, but they are like, what? A solid 8 points behind? No, we're 8 points behind City. So they're probably like 13, 14 points behind City. So they're pretty much already done. Because let me tell you, it's going to be hard as hell for Man United to catch Manchester City, let alone Tottenham, who are that far behind. Not even Chelsea. Even if they turn into this monsters team and bring somebody in over the winter transfer window, I don't see them catching up. The only team that can is United. And it's really a shame because Tottenham have completely blown it. And yes, they might still be able to do well in the Champions League. I think they are well on their way to qualifying. But are they realistically going to be contenders for the Champions League final? I don't really think so based on what we're seeing consistency-wise. And they do have that major problem of playing at Wembley. I mean, they just simply haven't been performing well. And yes, they did lose. So they did draw against Watford at Watford Stadium. So it's not like it was a Wembley problem. But away from home, they have not been doing very well either, which is usually something that they're pretty good at. They're usually really good at winning at home and getting quite a few points away. And they simply aren't doing it this season. So they've really, really wasted a chance to do well in this campaign. So it's a real shame for them. But I guess what can you say? Less competition for United for that Champions League spot. So I'm not really mad about it. I was hoping Tottenham would be able to make it a race because of the fact that, I like seeing competitive leagues. I like seeing, a 3, maybe 4-horse race until the end. Unfortunately, it didn't come true. Another result that sort of surprises me, but not really, is Everton beating Huddersfield 2-0. I say it surprised me because of the fact that they've been playing so poorly this season, but with Ronald Koeman gone, they are seemingly getting a little bit better with the pending arrival of Big Sam Allardyce, who is definitely a machine who is built to simply not get relegated. Is he going to get you guys into European football? Probably not. Definitely not. But he is at least going to be able to guarantee you that you won't be relegated. I don't think that there's any team in the league that's so bad that he would be unable to save them. I mean, he saved Sunderland for fuck's sake. So that has to be taken into consideration. The guy is very, very good at that. And I think that the fact that even if he's not there, but the fact that he is coming in, a lot of players are already trying to show their skills, are trying to show that they are worthy of being that starting lineup because in January they might bring in some players, sell out some of the useless players. And so I think they're probably trying to prove their worth like happens often when new managers come in. But still, I think that Big Sam Allardyce is going to really, really change this team. and really turn this team into a points machine, essentially. I don't think they're going to make it, like I said, to Europe, but I definitely think that they could finish around 10th or something like that. There's still plenty of time for that, and I do think this is going to be a very, very good appointment for Everton, considering how unstable they've been since David Moyes left, which is shocking to say because David Moyes ever since has been absolute garbage. But before that, when he was with Everton, they were consistently doing very, very well, doing exactly what they were hoping to, which is basically finish around the Europa League spots, the UEFA Cup spots. And I think that if there's anybody that can really get them back to being a stable team and really give them the platform to push forward, it is Big Sam Allardyce. Another result that was sort of interesting is Liverpool's 5-1 win over Brighton, and I say that just because of the fact that Brighton tend to be a tough team to break down as long as it is 0-0. Once you score a goal on them, they tend to be a lot easier to break down because of the fact that they have no choice but to push forward and try to get a draw, and they leave some space open behind them. Unfortunately for them, Liverpool are masters at doing that. They are masters at exposing teams on the counterattack with so much pace. They don't really have an all-out striker. I mean, they have, Firmino, who's definitely not a striker. I don't really rate him much as a player. They obviously have Coutinho, who's tremendous. Mo Salah has been really playing very, very well. They have plenty of good players offensively. I think that with a main striker that can really bang in the goals, and not Daniel Sturridge. I think Daniel Sturridge doesn't really fit there with Klopp. They need somebody who's a bit more of a tower type player. I think that they would definitely do a very, very good job with that, and they could potentially get themselves into the Champions League if they had a player like that. But for this season, I simply don't see it happening. I think the Arsenal are picking it up, even if they did lose 3-1 to Man United this weekend. I think the Arsenal are definitely better equipped, having Ozil, having Alexis Sanchez, who obviously are going to be on their way out, but I think they do want to perform well to sort of try to attract a huge team, which I think they would probably be able to do regardless. And it's going to be interesting to see if Arsenal lose them in January. If they do, it's over. Liverpool are probably going to finish fourth because Arsenal really can't bring anybody else that's going to want to play for them coming January. You know what I mean? But they have almost no choice but to sell or let them go for free. So they pretty much are going to be selling if a good offer comes in. So I think that's definitely going to be something to take into consideration. But I don't think that as things stand right now, that Liverpool will be able to finish in the top four. They are a very good offensive team, but in defense, they are fucking atrocious. They are trash. And as long as that lasts, they cannot be major contenders for a title. Moving on to third place Chelsea. This was a classic win, a 3-1 win over Newcastle. And Newcastle have been playing some decent football lately. I mean, not really decent football, but they have been getting decent results because their football is atrocious. Because they don't really have anybody in that team that's capable of putting together 2 or 3 passes in a row. It's just really atrocious. Their skill level is very, very low. Even the guy like Jonjo Shelvey, who is allegedly one of their best players, he just doesn't show up, and his mental game is so weak. You can't rely on this guy at all, and he doesn't really show up when the team needs him, and they desperately need him this season if they want to be able to guarantee themselves basically a relegation threat-free season. With a guy like with Rafa Benitez, they're guaranteed to have a very good manager who's going to set them up very, very well and give them the platform to survive at the very least in the Premier League. Could they go forward? Well, if they bring in the new owner, apparently Mike Ashley is going to be selling. If that actually goes through, then yes, I think that they could possibly get themselves towards the 10th position over the next 2 or 3 seasons. Maybe even building forward there, depending on how much money actually comes into the club, how much the owner knows about football, and how much they're willing to give Rafa Benitez his own leeway, if Rafa Benitez actually decides to stay. Those are all things that they have to take into consideration, and all things that are going to factor into the growth of Newcastle United as a football club right now. If all these things fall in line for them, then they undoubtedly have the potential to have a very, very good future. It remains to be seen, but the potential is definitely there. I'm very interested to see what happens there. But are they going to be able to do that right now? This season is looking very, very bad because they don't have very skilled players, and they simply have a lot of players that aren't putting in the effort that they need to in this Premier League. And that kind of reminds me of a few seasons ago when they did get relegated. It was just a very, 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 very poor season for them mentally. And if that happens again, and I think Rafa Benitez is the type of manager that will motivate them enough to get themselves there, because let's be real, there's not a single player on that Newcastle team that is bigger than Benitez. When Benitez played for Real Madrid, just about every single player was bigger than him. We saw what he did at Napoli too, where a few of the players like Gonzalo Higuain were definitely a lot higher rated than Benitez was. So sometimes he wasn't able to get the best out of him. But without a doubt, in this Newcastle team, he is the number one guy when it comes to managers, players, owners, whatever. He is the number one guy. All right, he is the guy that Newcastle have to build around. And if they do, then they can definitely do well. But if not, if he leaves, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. And I just want to see Newcastle do a bit more. I like to see newly promoted teams stay up do well, but play some good football. I don't like these teams who simply don't play anything whatsoever. Benitez has never really been known, at least not in my opinion, for playing beautiful football. He's not my type of manager. But I definitely think that with him at the helm, they should be able to survive. So I look forward to seeing what happens there. As for Chelsea, are they really going to be able to catch Manchester City? I simply don't think so. They don't have anywhere near the team that City have, and really even United. I just don't think they have the quality. They definitely don't have the depth, and I think that's going to be a problem for them all season long, and pretty much going to guarantee them not to be able to compete for the title. And Antonio Conte, I don't know, he just seems so strange. The guy always seems to have a chip on his shoulder, and that's good at the beginning. That's good at motivating players, but in the long haul, that's got to be very, very mentally draining for him, for his players, for his staff, and everything like that, because the guy is so intense all the fucking time. It's got to get to a point where you just don't want to be around him anymore, and you've seen it over the years. Like with Juventus, they didn't want to be around him anymore towards the end of his tenure with Juventus. Yes, he won them a few league titles, but the players were kind of sick of him. They were constantly just being pretty much drowned out. They had no energy left. That's why when they would go into playing the Champions League matches later on in the season, they simply didn't have the energy to get past the quarterfinals. And I think that's going to be a very similar thing over here at Chelsea. And he's sort of talking, not negatively, but he's not really, I don't know, he's not really feeding Hazard, which is something that you usually have to do with a guy like that, because Hazard is very much a confidence player. And if you don't talk him up and make him feel very, very good, he seems like a guy who might struggle a little bit, and Antonio Conte is not doing that at all, which is why Hazard is not playing his best football. And I think that's going to be a very, very key factor here, because we've seen it with Mourinho. Once Hazard turned on him, once a few other players in that locker room turned on Jose, he was gone. And I think that this is going to be Antonio Conte's last season with Chelsea. I mean, regardless of what he does in the Champions League, if he does very, very well, which I don't think is going to happen, then I don't think he's going to be in London any longer. I think he's going to come back to Italy. I don't know how long Gattuso is going to last at Milan. Probably not very long, considering how he has no major team experience in football, and his biggest job was him getting fired in Serie B. So I think that he will probably get sacked by the end of the season. Antonio Conte will move into Milan, take over there, and potentially take them to newer heights. I don't know, but regardless, I don't think that Chelsea's going to really do a whole lot. I'm going to talk real quick about Manchester City versus West Ham. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch this game, but based on the result and based on what I've been reading, it was a very, very unappealing result for Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. It looks like Jose Mourinho is probably going to be a little bit more confident after this result. And coming into the Manchester derby, we definitely need all the confidence we can get to go against Pep Guardiola's City, because this City side is without a doubt the best Manchester City side there's ever been. Ever. I mean, bar none. There isn't a single team, and obviously they've had a solid history for probably 5 years now. Maybe 6, 7 if you want to count when they signed Robinho, this amazing rapist. I mean, but other than that, there was really no great players in their team. There was really no great history for them over the years until now. Until now, you have to give it to them. They did very, very well in investing their money, whether it's very legal or whether they're cheating the system, whatever it is. I mean, I'm definitely hoping that they will eventually get caught by financial fair play and get fucked in the ass. That would be very, very funny to me, but have to give them props. They are doing very well. They built a very, very solid team, and they are a very, very dangerous team. And I'm very interested in seeing what they do from a neutral standpoint, what they do in the Champions League. And obviously, I'm a United fan, so I want to see them fail miserably. I don't even want to see them get past the group stage. But realistically, with the team they have, if they do not go past the group stage, which I'm pretty sure I think they probably already qualified, but if they don't go past the quarterfinals and make it to the semifinals and really put in a good game to possibly get to the finals, it has to be considered a major failure for Pep in terms of Champions League football, because with the money they spent, with the quality players they have, fucking Aguero, De Bruyne, David Silva, the list goes on and on and on. The players they have got to be competing for major competition glory in the European Championships. They have to be doing that. They have got to be winning cups, winning major trophies, winning Champions Leagues constantly if they want to really be able to, I guess you could say, be remembered as one of the best teams of all time, because they have the potential there to really compete with Real Madrid. And obviously Real Madrid are having a very, very hard time right now in La Liga, but in the Champions League they're doing really well. I think they drew 1-1 in the last match with Tottenham. Tonight is the night that the last games of the group stage are played, so I think that Real Madrid will definitely be qualified. But regardless, I think that they have what it takes to be competing with Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus on their day is a very, very dangerous team, but I definitely think that City can beat them too. I think that City are on par with all these teams. I think United are a bit of a step down. Unfortunately, I don't think that we're quite as good as them right now, and that's definitely being proven by the results. Coming into the derby, though, it's going to be very interesting to see because United just won 3-1 against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium. And don't get me wrong, it was definitely a game in which Arsenal pounded the shit out of us, and David De Gea made some fantastic saves. He made 14 saves, which is a Premier League record. I mean, the guy is insane. He's the best keeper in the world, bar none, in my opinion. Like, Manuel Neuer, as good as he is, he does a lot of stupid shit. David De Gea, he does not do stupid shit. Not at all. He is a phenomenal keeper. Might be the best goalkeeper in the world. In my opinion, he is. And he might just be the best goalkeeper in Man United history. I'm not going to say he's the best keeper of all time, because I say it would be potentially between him, Schmeichel, and Buffon, in my opinion, maybe even Zoff. There have been some really, really good keepers over the years, but those are the guys that, in my opinion, are at the very top. And obviously, De Gea is still very young. He's still, 26? He has plenty of time to prove that he is even better than those guys. If he can have a similar career to, say, Buffon, maybe even making it to 35 years old, but still maintaining those reflexes, maybe even improving his positioning a little bit like that, like Buffon did, because he used to be a monster reflex keeper, but his positioning is second to none. If he can do that, then he has the potential to go down as the greatest keeper of all time. And I mean, this guy is fucking insane. The guy is insane. He's going to win Champions Leagues for sure, whether he wins it with us or with Real Madrid. He eventually will win Champions Leagues. He's eventually going to win World Cups. This guy is just so fucking good. All right, best keeper in the world. And as much as he saved us, I was definitely very impressed with the team. Not necessarily from the quality of football, because we did play very, very good at counterattacking. That is something to definitely take into consideration as like a very, very positive thing. We didn't really have a lot of possession. I think we ended the game with like 30% possession, more or less. So it wasn't very, very good in the sense that we were controlling the game or anything like that. No. What I did like was the resiliency. What I definitely didn't like was Pogba's stupidity at getting himself a red card, because as much as I think that may have been a little bit of a soft red card, because it wasn't like he went in there with malice, at least it didn't seem like it, but he definitely went in there stupidly with his foot completely forward and just stomped on the dude. So you have to give the red card. It's simply the correct call. It sucks for us, but it was the correct call, so I'm not going to complain. I just think that was a very, very bad mistake, obviously from Pogba. That is going to be a very, very, very big factor coming into the derby this weekend. And I'm going to cover that in the next couple of days. I mean, I'm going to save that for later, because I want to do a preview for it, obviously. But I just want to say right now, it's going to be a tremendous Manchester derby at Old Trafford. It's going to be a great day. The atmosphere is going to be tremendous. I look forward to seeing what our young players can do against a team like City, who are at the very pinnacle of their game right now. And yes, they did have a difficult result against West Ham, but I don't really think that's going to be a sign that they're trash. I think that they're definitely going to be a tough team to beat, very motivated to play against us, and it's going to be a very, very fun game. As for United versus Arsenal, like I said, we showed resiliency, Pogba showed stupidity, but at the end of the day, our counterattacking play, our team play was very, very solid, working well as a unit, as a defensive unit. We definitely made Arsenal take quite a few just poor decisions. Poor strikes. There weren't a lot of their shots were kind of like pot shots from outside the box. But obviously, De Gea made like that monster save on Ramsey, that double save. He made quite a few other ones as well. I think one from Lacazette. But overall, I am very, very happy with the team. Marcos Rojo making his first game back. I was very happy to see him back, and yes, he did make a couple mistakes here and there, but definitely he is a very, very solid player to have back, and I look forward to seeing him. If he can come back to the form that he had last season, that would be very, very good. If he can sort of forge a partnership with Bailly whenever he's back, and forge a partnership with, say, Phil Jones whenever he comes back from injury, and Chris Smalling, if Smalling does indeed stay in the starting lineup, then I think we are definitely very, very well set in defense. I hope that we bring in a fullback, because I don't really like the whole left back position, and yes, Ashley Young is doing very well, but over the past few seasons, he hasn't really been consistently good. So once he starts turning back the trash, we need somebody that's going to really be able to take the reins of that left back position and really be a major player for us. So that is it for the video, the return video of SGN. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please soccer kick the shit out of that like button. If you want to, you can even go plata the like button. Either way, it's fine with me as long as you get the finish. Also, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of everything I said in this video. And definitely subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content by us. I've been Diego from SGN, and I will see you in the next video.